Hey, all right, it's your old pal Steve Areno. Today we're looking at the Rio Grande models Buckeye Trencher in HO scale. Part 1. Take 1. Boom! Back here at the modeling desk, got something to show you guys. I've been whittling on it over the Christmas vacation. We had a few days off, so I thought I would knock out one of these white metal models. Let me move some stuff around on my desk and I'll show you what we've done. Move the modeling thinking hat and we'll be right back. All right, bye. Yeah, well, I've been away for a while and back starting in the middle of the summer, a lot of my time was taken up, rolled right off track season into football season, and ended up coaching the high school football team. We had a great season. We went one loss for the whole season and went right on through league and sectionals and on to state, and we won the state championship in our division. So really fantastic. And so it was a long season, June all the way through to the first week of December, but a great season. And of course with that, practicing 5 days a week in a game wasn't a lot of time left over for other things. But one of the things that I did want to do, and it's been kind of on the back of my mind for a while, is I wanted to see how these white metal kits are. So over the couple weeks when, we had stuff going on for holiday-ish type things, I decided to work on one of these white metal kits. So the particular kit that I wanted to work on, and I had this in my collection. I've got a lot of these in my collection. It's made by a company that was called, and I say was because I think, as I understand from the internet, they're out of business now. So don't get too you won't find them. They're gone. There is a guy, it looks like he's trying to resurrect their kits, and so I guess you're probably only going to be able to find them on eBay. So don't get frustrated, because if you like what I've done, you may have a hard time finding this. And I didn't know that when I started that. I mean, a lot of things change pretty quick in this world, and companies come and companies go. And this company, while it was great, I made these really intricate corner case models, and obviously they were made for railroading, and they were meant to decorate your I don't know what they call that, the trackside world of your modeling world. But anyway, I bought it because I just thought it was cool. And you can actually find videos of this piece of equipment operating up on YouTube. And I was a kid, and I mentioned before in other videos, I grew up in suburbia, and they were throwing up 10,000 homes at a time on what used to be, patches of farmland. And so we were one of the first houses in that neighborhood. And I can remember seeing all kinds of these construction equipment building what we called additions next to the place where we lived. And they might have the same name or different names, right hand, left hand. There were like 5 homes, and they would, just put the streets in, and then they would come right behind it. It was the Henry Ford approach to making houses, I guess. Foundation crews and excavation crews, followed by foundation crews, and then infrastructure crews, and just following one right behind the other, blowing these houses out, and then folks moving in too. And there was always like a neighborhood where some of this type of equipment was being used, and so young guys, on Saturday with Stingray bicycles, you couldn't keep us out of there, and we were doing all kinds of stuff probably that was, now I look back as an adult and realize it was dangerous, but we used to get up and climb around on this equipment. I remember one guy got up on one and actually started it one time. It didn't move, but he started the engine, and that got us into trouble for a while too. So truth in advertising, yeah, we were around this equipment, but now these things are dinosaurs, and you don't see them anymore because they don't do work this way, I guess. All right, so let me show you a little bit about this model. And you're like, oh, when did that happen? Well, that was in the 60s. That was in the late 60s when all that stuff I just mentioned was occurring. Okay, so one of the first things is I'll mention, I'd never built one of these white metal kits before. Generally speaking, what I'll say is the parts are good, generally. Way different than building plastic models. There's no location tabs on this stuff. I used super glue because it seemed like where I could find any videos, that's what the people were using. So ventilation would be key. This stuff also apparently contains some amount of lead, even though it's listed as white metal. So, you know, health caution advisories there. You'll hear people mentioning, hopefully they do, if they're mentioning these models, and I certainly will hear, you need to wash your hands, don't have any cups of drinking stuff, vacuum regularly the shavings and sandings that you're getting off the parts. There's a lot of flash on these parts. So you're gonna do a lot of test fitting, and this stuff is very bendable. So if it's, watch out, because if it was straight when you first touched it and you touch it too much, it's probably not gonna be straight again. I mean, it's surprising how easily this stuff bends. So keep an eye on that, because if stuff's not fitting, it's probably because you bent it, and you have to straighten it up again and straighten it carefully. So there's that. You know, check your parts list as always, and you know, the pictures are, I thought, very charming, you know, because they're like hand-drawn assembly pictures. Instructions are fantastic. They just go right in the order that you should do stuff. I would say that on plastic models, you can build them upside down, inside out, front to back, back to forward. On this one, if others I do turn out to be like this one, you can't. You have to go in the order. You know, there's a reason that I put an order. It's the order to do it, to get it to come out right. And you know, me coming from the plastic modeling world, I just thought, oh, that'll be interesting to build this wheel thing. So I jumped into building the bucket wheel and ended up having to use super unglue to take some of it apart, because I didn't pay attention. It wasn't his fault, it was my fault. I didn't pay attention that this frame, of course, goes on the inside of this geared wheel, like he's showing here in the picture. And I kind of just did typical plastic modeling stuff. I just kind of glanced at the picture and kind of glanced at the words, and then I started building and ended up having to take this apart and to a certain extent, and put the A-frames inside the wheel. But that was the only thing that went wrong, which was easy to fix and straighten out. So you just flow right through the instructions and check them off as you go down, and circle stuff that, you know, it says, you know, these will be added later, so you know you're not skipping that step. Just good modeling practices, and that's why we do this stuff, is to have relaxation and enjoyment, and learn, right? So I did learn. I picked up a few things that I added to my modeling skill arsenal on this kit. So how did it turn out? Well, I'm not done, but I'm done enough to show you guys, and because I've got to order some mango orange paint. So that seems to be the color that these things were, and so I've just got it primed. And so there's kind of the top down, and let me drop the camera here and show you a side view. Okay, here we go. There's a side view from this side, and bend this baby around. There's a front view. I guess it's a front, or the other front, depending on, I mean, this thing just, if you look at the YouTube videos, the way this thing operates, really interesting. The way it, well, anyway, okay, let me take you a walk around here. So here's the other side of the model, and then the other front, the business end, right? So the way this thing worked, according to the YouTube videos that I've watched, is there's all kinds of levers and controls up in here, which, let's see if I can leave that alone so that it'll focus there. There's all kinds of levers which you build out of wire, and some controls here, all levers, I guess. And the guy who had set here, and obviously the engine's here, and there's a chain drive down here, and that drives the caterpillar wheels down here. And then here's another transmission shaft that goes back from the engine to a differential on each side. There's chain drive here that drives this ring wheel. So obviously you decide how deep you want to dig, and the wheel starts when you engage, it starts chain driving and driving the wheel around, and that is going that way. Okay, there's a conveyor belt up here to dump your dirt. Not sure how that's driven because it's not in the model, but obviously there's some rollers here on each end, and it dumps the dirt off. So you just would get this thing lowered, start chomping on the dirt, and you would also engage the drive, and it would start going that way. So your wheel's going around this way, and you're driving that way, and you start digging a trench underneath as you're pulling back. It's pulling back, it's picking dirt up and dropping it on the belt, and it's throwing it off to the side. And you would have a furrow row being developed on each side of the equipment. So that is how it worked. And like I said, these things are dinosaurs now, so they don't have these around anymore, I don't think. Maybe rusting in a field somewhere. So anyway, I have to yet order the orange. And I used Easy Line. The next step is painting the orange once it arrives. And then we'll be able to call this one done. There's no decaling or anything like that, just a little bit of weathering. And it should be good to go. Put it up on the modeling shelf and maybe consider building another one of these. All right, guys, well, we will talk to you later. Next time we have an interesting project that we want to share with the modeling world out there. Until then, take care.